My favorite moment at every Scotties is the first time I get to step on the ice because it still seems to me too good to be true. So I'll remember every single venue, the feeling I got at every single venue when we walked in for practice for the very first time, and thinking that my dreams came true all over again.
I mean, when you think of curling and females, you think of Jennifer Jones. She's been around, she's accomplished so much, and every little girl should be looking up to her.
Starting my competitive curling career, watching her and seeing how it is in Canada, you can do it in women's sport, and you can make it to the podium, and she was just phenomenal that whole Olympics. So I think just looking at that, that's the goal for any women's curler growing up, but especially I get to see it through playing with her and see her passion and her drive for the game, and I think anything is possible.
I was 21 when I joined the team, just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, looking to learn from the best, and I looked up to her in juniors, so I felt so thankful, and I am so thankful for that opportunity. It's opened up a lot of doors for me, and I learned so much from Jennifer and her leadership and hard work. Her work ethic is incredible, so she's an amazing person.
All of my teammates over the years have just had such a big impact on me as a curler, me as a teammate, me as a person. We shared so many ups and downs together. Caitlin, Jill, and Dawn and I curled together for 12 years, I think it was, somewhere, yeah. And so we grew up together. We shared so many moments on and off the ice, and so obviously they're just going to be a big part of all of my memories and who I am as a person forever. I think when I hurt my knee, I thought it was career ending, and I remember sitting with Brent and having lunch thinking I'd never curl again, and my biggest thing was that I thought I'd let my team down. It was a year and a half to the Olympic trials, and I just didn't know if I'd ever curl again. And then I go and I have to have the surgery, and I'm pregnant at the same time, and trying to get through all of that and come back on the other side. And then a year later, we went on to win the Olympics. So that to me was a moment where I wasn't sure what was going to happen. But what's magical about it is I remember telling my team at the time, and they looked at me like it wasn't a big deal, because they believed in me, and they knew that I was going to find a way to get through it. And it gave me the strength to do anything I could to make sure that I was going to be good for them when we needed to be.
Being with her in Sochi after knee surgery, after, recently giving birth to a baby with her mom and dad there, she was on fire. She just made everything. It's almost like she said to the team, I'm doing this, come along for the ride.
I remember leaving and telling my boss at the time, he said, good luck. And I said, well, if I make all my shots, we're going to win. And that's all I kept thinking of the entire games. Is as long as I make my 2 shots, we're going to be good. Didn't matter what the score was, how the end was going. If I made my 2 shots, we're going to be good. And I just felt like I had everything in my control, within my power, and it was like an out-of-body experience almost, that whole game.
And then in 2005, I'll never forget her sitting in the hack for the last shot. We'd played it 3 times that year. We missed both, one across the top, one across the bottom. And I remember thinking, we know exactly how to do this. And she was just so calm. Everything slowed down. And I remember sweeping, and when they said whoa at the end, all I could think of is, oh my God, we might actually make this. And she did.
I was there in 2005 when we were Team Canada and she became Team Canada. And just watching behind the scoreboard and that shot coming down, she knew she had that shot made on relief. That's how good she threw it.
It was our first win, come from behind victory in the most intense kind of magical moment that you could have ever asked for. And so I'll never forget that moment, and my team, and the celebration after. That to me is the one that stands out the most.
Her legacy of what she's done, given the amount of time that it's been, has just been to be that good for that long, top player, puts the fear of God in everybody, and can still make shots. I don't know that you don't know what you got till it's gone, and Jennifer would be an example of that. We all know she's great, but she has changed the face of women's curling.
I think we're going to see players that have different strengths, but Jennifer Jones is in a class by herself. She's leaving behind a legacy that says, don't ever accept that being on the top is good enough, that there's a whole cast of people that are trying to beat you, and if you don't keep looking for an edge, you're not going to stay there long. She's leaving a legacy of this game is made to be played without fear. And so many top players play afraid to make a mistake she embraces the opportunity to make a mistake because she might also make a brilliant shot, and she does that over and over.
Honestly, I haven't really thought about that. But when people say it, it's probably the biggest compliment you could ever give me. When you start out doing something you love, you don't think of the impact that you could potentially make, or that you could be a role model, or that you could be forever remembered in the sport that I love. And so when people say that to me, it's honestly, it's the biggest compliment I could ever get. And it's truly humbling. And if I could have just had an impact on one person, that would have made my day. And hopefully I've had an impact on more. It is going to be a very special week in Calgary, and I've got my whole family coming. And I'm just really grateful to share the ice with these girls. I want to go out there and I want to slide over those Scotties Hearts and soak up the crowd and soak up the atmosphere, and really say thank you to the fans who have made my life and my dreams a million times more than I could have ever imagined. All I can say is just thank you. Thank you from everything inside of me, for believing in curling, for loving the game, for supporting us through agony, through joy, for being there when we stood on top of the podium, because I can tell you the moment I took that step on the podium, every single one of you was there with me. Thank you.